Hello and welcome to this month in competitive Overwatch. In this video, I'm going to sum up everything that has happened in the competitive Overwatch community in November of 2018. I'll start with the World Cup, move into Contenders, and finally, the Overwatch League. As usual, the pinned comment will have timestamps for each section in case you don't care about Contenders or something, and if I miss anything in this video, let me know in the comments and I'll heart it if it's right so it comes up to the top of the comment section. Also, before we begin, I just thought I would let you know that this will be my last video for a couple of weeks. As most of you know, I am at university right now, and it is final season, so I'm taking time off from YouTube to focus on that. I will be back and making videos in about 2 weeks. If you want to keep up with me, I'll still be on my Discord server, I'll still be posting on Twitter, and I might even do a Twitch stream or two. Links to all three will be in the description. Enough about me though, let's get started. The Overwatch World Cup BlizzCon Finals occurred in the beginning of November. We had a few feel-good storylines like Team UK going on a surprising semifinals run, and Team China redeeming their country in the eyes of the world with their second place finish. In the end though, it was business as usual. South Korea didn't drop a single map the entire tournament on their way to their third World Cup championship in as many years. If you want to learn more about how each team did and what we can take away from the World Cup, click the iCard showing up right now. All 7 regions of Contenders are now in full swing. Let's see which teams are on top at the end of November and the beginning of December. North America has only had 1 game for each team so far. Everything is still very much up in the air. All I can say is that my predictions in my last video, yeah, they're garbage, don't listen to them. Second Wind pulled off the upset of the Gladiators Legion, Envy got smoked by XL2, NRG beat Sky Foxes. I was wrong everywhere. It's all dumb, just don't listen to it. However, the rest of that video is actually pretty good if you want to get caught up on who's competing in Contenders NA and which teams look to be better than the others. If you need a casuals guide, an iCard will be showing up right about now. Meanwhile, Atlanta Academy, First Generation, and Fusion University got the win column for Group A. Again, with only 1 game played, nothing is set in stone. Next month will be interesting, as most of the season will unfold. In South America, it's looking like it might be another perfect season for base tryhards, the rebranded Brazil Gaming House, through 2 games. No team was even close to them so far in Group A. In Group B, however, there is more competition as both Up Gaming and Looking for Team Overwatch League are 2-0 through 2 games. Up Gaming has the better map score, but they also face the 2 teams currently in the bottom of their group. Will anyone be able to stand up to base tryhards? Probably not, but they can definitely try. As I'm writing this, Europe has finished its 3rd week. In Group A, Winstrike Team and Samsung Morningstars are the first to guarantee their playoff spots, and a ticket to next season of Contenders. Congratulations. Team Giganti is looking like they're probably going to grab a spot as well, which leaves HSL, Young and Beautiful, and Bazooka Poppies left fighting for 1 playoff spot. Group B is much closer so far. 1 Point has secured their playoff spot, but they're the only one to do so. The rest of the division is still wide open, with Angry Titans, Shoes Money Crew, British Hurricane, and Orgless and Hungry all within striking distance of the top 4, with We Have Org bringing up the rear. Next week, we will have a battle of the top 2 teams when 1 Point takes on Angry Titans, while the British Hurricane will fight Orgless and Hungry, who beat them last season. These games will mean a lot when it comes to how the playoff picture will stack up at the end of it all. Just like in South America, the big question in Australia is whether anyone is going to be able to beat the Sydney Drop Bears. Just like base tryhards, they are still perfect through 3 games, and look well on their way to a three-peat. On the other side, the Melbourne Mavericks, the rebrand of Serenity, are off to a good start themselves, but once again it was against the 2 lowest teams in their group. A lot of similarities between Australia and South America, and once again, the main question is if anyone's going to be able to beat the Sydney Drop Bears. The answer? Probably not, but it'll be interesting to see them try. Through 2 games, the Pacific region is still wide open. No team is perfect. In Group A, the former champion Talon Esports is on top, looking to make it 2 in a row, but Xavier Esports is right on their tail. In Group B, the Hong Kong Attitude are the only 2-0 team left, followed by a 4-way tie for second. It is crazy close there, which makes New Paradigm versus Cyclone Coupling next week all the more important. Tune in if you can. In China, we actually have 2 teams still looking for a perfect season. Team TC and T1W are both perfect through 3 games, and are on a collision course in Week 5. Lingen Esports has also secured a playoff spot, so the question is whether Laboratory or Zenith of Optimism can catch 666 Legend. While it isn't as clean, Big Time Regal Gaming and Flag Gaming are also both 3-0 through 3 games, with LGD also securing a playoff spot with a 2-1 record. Once again, it all comes down to if Lucky Future can hang on to the 4th spot. If you want a more in-depth review of the Contenders China games, check out Gio's weekly series, Keeping Up with Contenders China. Gio helps put on Broadcast GG streams for Contenders China, so she really knows what's going on there, I would say much better than me.
This was a matchup of 2 main tanks who received a lot of attention last week, So What versus King Kong. Lucky Future though have Blackbean, an amazing DPS player who popped off against Flag Gaming last week. But historically, Lucky Future have made random DPS swaps throughout their series. Perhaps Blackbean would get swapped out, and even if he didn't, who knew if he was enough to rely on?
So if you're interested, a link to the most recent episode will be in the description. Through 2 weeks, the true championship hopefuls in Korea have started to differentiate themselves from the pack. In Group A, MVP Space and what I like to call Runaway 2.0 have each won their first 2 games, with MVP Space still in the running for a perfect season. While they still aren't guaranteed playoff spots at this point, it's looking pretty likely. Next week, Geekstar will take on WGS Armament. This game will prove if the new team can truly differentiate themselves from the bottom of the group. Group B is looking much more top-heavy. Element Mystic, Busan Wave, and Kongdu Panthera are all 2-0 so far, though none of them have gotten through unscathed. This is looking like a fight between Stormquake, Gen.G, and Meta Athena for the last slot. The key games next week will be Element Mystic vs Kongdu, where one of these teams will get their first loss, and Stormquake vs Meta Athena, where one of them will get their first win. This month, the Boston Uprising announced the signing of Fusions on a 2-way contract. The main tank from British Hurricane will look to build on the momentum that he already has from the Overwatch World Cup. The Dallas Fuel announced the signing of RCK this month. Formerly from Team Giganti, he looks to help fill the hole that the team had in the off-tank position. The LA Gladiators announced the release of support duo Big Goose and Shaz this month. Psych! In the Great Debate Part 2, the Gladiators announced that not only were Big Goose and Shaz staying, but they added Reaper, the 3rd Team Giganti support on the team. Reaper will probably share time with Shaz on the flex support role. The NYXL announced that they would be promoting Nene from XL2 to the main roster. Nene was arguably the brightest spot for XL2 last season, so this is no surprise at all. The interesting thing is now the NYXL have 5 DPS on their team, all of which are arguably world class. How will they deal with it? The Shanghai Dragons added a new assistant coach to round out their coach rebuild. Levi from Element Mystic will provide even more high-level Korean input to this team. The Toronto Defiant announced their final 2 players to make their 8-player roster. The DPS Asher, who was formerly on the LA Gladiators, and the main support Rocky from O2, a team that the Defiant have been pulling from a lot. The Paris Eternal announced one more player. It will be Gray, a Portuguese flex support that most recently played for GGEA. They also added Lizlin to their staff as team manager. The Hangzhou Spark revealed their branding this month, as well as their entire team. Their team has a few exciting Chinese prospects in Gushui and Crystal, but it's mostly a fusion of players from 2 Korean teams. No Smite, Godsby, and Bebe are from X6, and Adora, Bazzi, and Revenge are from 7. They also have IDK from Lucky Future Zenith. The Guangzhou Charge are more all over the place. They seem to be wanting to build off of a core of Metabellum players. Rio, Happy, Kara, and Wang Li are all from there. However, the team also grabbed 2 players formerly of Toronto Esports, Nero and Shu. They got Hotba from the Fusion for some veteran guidance. They have Kib from the British Hurricane. Finally, their Chinese representatives are Only Wish and Eileen from LGD Gaming. To hear my extended thoughts on the Charge and the Spark, as well as the Reign and the Eternal, where their branding comes from, and what I think they'll do in the Overwatch League Season 2, hit the iCard showing up right now. The Chengdu Hunters also revealed all late this month. Of the 4 Overwatch League teams based in China, this is the only one that is actually majority Chinese. They have taken from all over the Chinese contender scene. Kyo and Late Young are from Team CC. Gary is from Lucky Future. Yveltal and Elsa are from Lingun Esports. Meng and Jinmu are from Big Time Regal Gaming. Finally, Yang Xiaolong is making a return to Overwatch after his run with Miraculous Youngster, and Bacon Jack returns from a nearly year-long absence after last playing for Flash Wolves. It's also worth mentioning that the Chengdu Hunters have RUI as head coach. He's just about the most qualified Chinese coach that you can get in Overwatch, having coached Miraculous Youngster, Shanghai Dragons, and Team China in the most recent Overwatch World Cup. The former Valiant and Gladiators player Silkthread was set to join the team as well, but unfortunately decided to retire because of mental health and commitment issues. I wish him the best in whatever he does next. And that's it! Hopefully now you feel more caught up with everything that's been going on in the competitive Overwatch community. Did I miss something? Let me know in the comments, and once again, if you were right, I will heart it. Did you like this video and want to hear more? Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I make competitive Overwatch content every week. When it's not final season, that is. So I'll see you guys in about 2 weeks after I've completed my first semester in college. Until then, though, that's all from me. Don't get tilted.